Okay. Let's do one of these too. And let's record this because this is my final one. Okay, maybe well, not my final tier list, but this is the one I did after beating the game, so you know. I thought I might as well record it. So let's get on with it. Tortoise. I like this thing actually. I thought it lost of its usefulness after the first world or two, but it actually still has some good use. Like, this thing's still pretty good. Crab. I actually think Crab is really good. Its damage being 40 is really high. It being AoE, basically. AoE was the only reason I ever saw using the Tortoise, like, over the chicken in a lot of scenarios, was the fact that it had the AoE. But the Crab has it with more damage. So you can let things slip by and be real greedy with this thing, and I love it. Storm. I think this thing's fine. Like, genuinely fine. Actually, well, let me remove this tier, because I don't think anything is actually that bad anymore. Yeah. Storm is pretty good. The extra beans is nice. The extra attack speed, I don't know how much that really does. It has to do something, though. Yeah, the extra beans are actually really good. Chicken. I'm really on the edge of this one, actually. I used to hate this thing, then I liked and I loved it, and now I'm much too sure how to feel about it anymore. Because the chickens don't make any sense. They just don't make sense. Like, literally, I'd throw the chickens at a choke point, and then it would stop one enemy and the rest would walk past it. Like, I thought each chicken could stop an enemy. I thought, well, if not, then how many enemies does it stop, and why is it different every single time I try it? Every time I press retry and I throw it back down, it stalls a different amount of units. I don't understand it. The actual, like, mount doesn't do a lot of damage either, but the ability can be really good. I think it actually peaks in World 3. It does amazing in World 3. World 3 lives on choke points. So this really helps there. But I don't think for the first two worlds we're good. I think Tortoise is just better. Or, oh yeah, I was going to say even Crab, but you don't get it by then. But let's just go with Crab, say Crab, because of beast mode. And like everything else you can do. Like, even Crab would probably be better. Because Tortoise can just, you use this ability and literally everything dies that isn't a medium or large unit, and there's a lot of small units in the first couple worlds. It does a lot. It basically clears the board in some clears the board in some situations. The chicken just isn't really needed there. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird one. I think it's the worst amount, but I don't think it's actually that bad, as you can see. Arrows. So arrows is fine. I think gun is the best main weapon, but arrows is like the go-to for boss fights. Just no matter what, because its damage output is so much higher than the other ones. I don't know what else to say about arrows. Like, it's just it's perfect balance. Like, it's fine. Its ability is 4 turn cooldown, which is a lot, and it can basically solo some waves. But I don't think it's like too broken. Cactus. Cactus is fine. Cactus is a really weird beast. Some stages it is extremely pointless. Like, does literally nothing, absolutely nothing. If I should turn this on for the music. Yeah, that'll be a lot better. Like, some stages, it does absolutely nothing. But in other ones, it just completely carries. It basically, it does so much when it's good, but when it's not good, it feels like it does almost nothing. I don't know, but it can completely carry you in any level, or on any level, in the right level. Frog's fine. Frog is frog. The ability's good. The tongue pulse kind of meh. This thing's cheap, goes in water, and it does decent damage. I think it has a small amount of splash too, which is always really nice to have. Its damage output's good. It's a good typing because there's not a whole lot of stuff that you have that is water damage aside from the geyser, and that's really about it. Well, I guess Chameleon too, but Chameleon is weird. So it's just always going to be... It's pretty much always going to be right here, just because it's typing alone. Snowy is... In World 4, it falls off a cliff because of certain enemies. And it's just there's better things for World 4, it feels like. But holy, before that, this thing is really good. Like, really good. Even when you unlock it. It can do I'm tempted to put it up here. I had it up here. Do you think should I? Yeah, I will. You know, I'm gonna add another tier to this. We're gonna have great and amazing, because that makes great seem. Because great isn't actually like superly broken like it would look. Dog is fine. Dog does dog things, and dog is fine. Really, a lot of the maps it kind of just falls over and doesn't do a lot. But there are definitely times when this thing can be just enough. Like, it fills a role that nothing else will be able to do, especially for its cost. The ability I don't think is actually that great. A lot of times it's just not gonna do a lot for you, but there are times where it can basically just send a whole wave back through a choke point, which is good. Dragons, or as I like to call him, the worm. Dragon's fine as well. Dragon's nothing special. I think Dragon's a weird one, actually. In boss fights, Dragon is like almost a go-to pick always, but outside of the boss fights, it's kind of weird. A lot of enemies either resist or are immune to fire. It's a really hard type to use a lot of the times, which kind of hurts this guy, but it's by far the best beast for any boss fight, and I don't think it's close, so that alone puts it here. It has its niche and it does it really well. Spikes are... I don't know, actually. Spikes should go in any of these tiers, like, genuinely. Do I raise crab to amazing? Number 2 just because its base damage is so high. Actually, yeah. I don't know. I'll leave the micromanaging, or the changes to the end. Spikes is a weird one. Spikes is insane damage. But on levels where you get spammed, it gets overwhelmed very easily, and something like a mud pit is just better. Or henge. So I'm really tempted to put it here. Like, this thing, I basically ran it for almost the entire game. Like, it's pretty good. It can definitely do some things. Like, it's really good for covering choke points too. And it combos insanely well with dog, and even the chicken. Okay, box. Boxes is poorly balanced. The game is built around the boxes. Like, the entire game is built around you having the box. Like, that's why there are certain enemies that even counter it, and a lot of levels that you either can or can't maze. Box is box. Like, this spot is never gonna change ever in the history of anything. The box is the box. Flippers, I don't think they're that great. There are so many heavy enemies in this game, and you add flying on top of that, and this thing can't throw anything down a cliff except for the tiny enemies, which are the ones you have the least problems with, because your rider alone can almost take care of anything small, and with the help of a beast, it's not a problem. So the flippers, what they can actually flip into holes, aren't threats ever. There are certain maps, like early on actually, this thing can be really good, but once you get like halfway through World 2, I want to say, or later, halfway through the game, this thing falls off a cliff completely. Even like evolving it just doesn't throw things far enough. And if you want something that stalls, just use the mud pit instead. It's the entire job. It's better at it because of that. There's just no reason to use the flippers outside of the first couple worlds, like the first two worlds, or even generally the first one might be the only time I used it, really. It's just never a good time to use it because nothing gets flung far enough with it. But it does have its moments in some levels, so it's not going to go in bad. But it's kind of almost there, actually. Mud Pit. Great. This thing is stupid. Actually, I might put this in amazing. It might just be the best thing in this entire game. It is stupid. The Mud Pit slows things down. That's all it does. It's a slow. But then you have the geyser in, which does insane amounts of damage. That thing does way more damage than it has any right to, considering the fact that the actual upgrade for the geyser costs $825, which is not expensive at all for an evolution. Like, not at all. And it slows and does massive amounts of damage. Not only does this thing, and even not just the geyser, everything else about it. Like, it slows things down for your choke points, or you can slow things into a spike, and the spike will hit them more. Anytime this is on the board, things will be doing more damage, and the mud pit itself might be doing the damage. It's insane. There's not a single level in this game where this thing can't bring you value. It's so good. Ballista's fine. There's always usually a better option, but the Ballista itself isn't actually that bad. You can still run it. It's just the fire arrows aren't the greatest because, like I mentioned earlier with the dragon, fire is a really weird typing in this game. A lot of things resisted or are just immune. There are a lot of things that are weak to it, but that's only in like the first two worlds. Past that, it gets a lot worse. And the magic eye, I don't know what it's actually called. That thing's actually pretty good, but it's a very expensive investment to get it to like actually good power. Because you have to level it up once, and that's $1,800, or I guess energy. I forget what the currency's called. And that's expensive, but in Endless it can do a whole lot. In some like levels where you get a lot of cash, a lot of money, you could definitely run it. But it's just kind of expensive. Like I said earlier, there's always usually a better option than the Ballista, but it can definitely still work. It's not actually that bad. It's right in the middle. Probably the most average thing in this game is the Ballista. Ghost. I really don't know what this thing is supposed to do. I don't think it's that bad. I think its ability, not its ability, its passive ability, I guess, once you hit level 4, is actually decent. It does, I don't remember exactly what it is, but I just know it does, this thing can do some good damage. It definitely helps kill things, but its ability is okay, and the whole fear and poison thing is not the greatest. I think this thing might be really good in Endless, but outside of that, I don't think it does a whole lot. So I'll put it here. The Mage. I actually have no idea where to place this one. I used it a couple times, but it seems perfectly average. It can send almost an entire wave back through your defense again, but for some reason, every time I tried that, they kind of just walked past my defense a second time, so what was the point? I guess you could send 1 HP enemies back, but you could also buy literally anything. I guess you don't always have that option, but I don't know. Its main weapon seems basically as bad as for the arrows, which is not very. And then the ability, it's on a really short cooldown, it's 2 turns, but it doesn't seem to do a whole lot. It doesn't seem to do much. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem very good. Beastmac. It is way too expensive to be used outside of boss fights and Endless. In those two, it's pretty good. It's usually it's a go-to pick because it has like the highest DPS in the game. But the fact that you can't use it at any other level, almost because of how expensive it is, like you could try to use it, but it's just not worth the price in normal levels. 9 times out of 10. But it's probably the best thing in this tier. If I had to like rank them in tiers, this is probably the best thing in this tier. At least at the moment. I'm not sure what else to put in there until I'm done with it. Henge. It's not that bad. I don't know. Henge is a weird one. I'll put it in here. Henge is like spikes, but less damage and a lot faster. So it's really good for fast enemies, but it doesn't do anything to anything bigger. It can stall, but not that great. It's not that good at stalling. And the fear thing seems very inconsistent and not very helpful, because anything that isn't fear just walks past anyway. So its stalling capabilities don't seem that great, but it might be a lot better in beast mode. I'm not too sure, but I have a feeling it's gonna be very good in beast mode. Cannon. Cannon's good. Actually, I'm tempted to put Cannon up here. Yeah, I'll put Cannon up here. Cannon's really good. Cannon has good damage. It has knockback. It has pierce. It has 2 really good damage types, one of them being fire, which is confusing considering the fact that I said fire is really weird before. But the fact that it has fire and earth, and everything that's resistant to fire for some reason is fine with earth, is a really good thing for Cannon. Because it can be ran in both scenarios, and both forms are actually really good. It's got really good damage. The knockback alone is probably what puts it up there, to be honest. The knockbacking with Pierce. It can stall a choke. It can hold choke points way too well. And its damage combined with the poison from one of its evolutions. It just does a lot. It just gets so much value for its price. It's also pretty... I wouldn't say it's cheap, but it's definitely not too expensive. Anyway, Electro, amazing. I think this is by far the best beast in the game, and I do not think it's close. Not at all. I ran Electro in almost every single level in the game past when I got this guy. Even the ones where almost all the enemies resisted electric, or were even immune. Just because this guy does that much. His ability is good. If anything resists it, it's not going to do anything. But it's the other ability, the passively active, whatever you want to call it, the little bouncing electric orb, is why this guy is so good. It doesn't do insane numbers, but for some reason, this guy launches that orb every 3 seconds, it feels like. He throws it so often that it just gets so much value off chaining, especially the smaller enemies that might You can have a defense that's weak to small enemies and put this guy down, and he covers that weakness entirely on his own because of that small bouncing orb of electricity. It is dumb. He covers an entire weakness in any strategy. He counters a whole archetype of enemies, aside from the ones that are literally immune, obviously. And his damage is really good. His ability basically clears the board if something doesn't resist it. It's just insane. This guy can be ran in any scenario ever and still get value over other beasts. Magic Blade, great. Magic Blade's insane. Well, I couldn't say it's insane. It's just really probably one of my favorite things in this game is Magic Blade. I didn't like it when I first unlocked this thing, but I love it now because it does so much. Getting it up to level 3 so it does 200 damage. This thing is basically hold a choke point on its own with anything that actually can take care of smaller groups. Its damage is so unbelievably high. Like, honestly, its damage alone is what puts it up there. Nothing else. Just the damage per swing is incredibly high. If you need more DPS, you add a Magic Blade to your defense and don't ask any questions. It will do its job. It'll do it stupidly well. Its job is to just do big numbers, and it does big numbers. Its evolutions are too expensive to afford in an average game outside of Endless. But even then, you just get a level 3 and it does 200. You don't need much more than that. Lightning Rod. Lightning Rod's fine. When you unlock Lightning Rod, you're basically forced to run it until you unlock anything else. Really? Because it's your only air defense for most of the game until you're air resisted. Yeah, that was fun. The Ice Path is actually really good. I should have used it more, because a lot of the things that are immune or resist the electric are weak to the ice, or the ice is just really good against them, because not only does it slow, but it does a lot of damage too. Not as much as the other path, but it still does a ton of damage. And the slow is really good. But yeah, when you unlock this thing, it's basically, you basically are forced to run it because it's their only actual air defense for half this game. But outside of that, it's just okay. Bullets, bullets, unable bullets. Yeah, probably just Nier. Bullets is fine. Its ability is really good. I think it's the best of the riders. Outside of boss fights, obviously, because arrows is just best there, always. But just a normal level, I think this is the best of the riders for basic attacks, specifically, because the 20 damage slower shots do enough to kill most things that are, like, most small enemies, especially after being weakened a bit, and even can kill medium-sized ones. Its ability too is really good. Its ability can basically solo a whole wave, and it's really good if you're lacking flying defense at any point, because you can use that, and the next time the flying shows up, you probably could have your defense built. Or if you struggle with a certain type of wave, just a massive rush of fast guys, you use the ability on there, and then again, by the next time that happens, you can have your defense built. Basically, this ability covers an entire wave, and it knocks things back too, which is really good. It stuns and knocks things back. This isn't just damage. But yes, what I'm trying to say is, it's just good. Nature, I think this is the best of them, of the summons. I think it's close. I do think it's actually close between, well, all of them, aside from the ones I barely used. They're all pretty equal almost, but I think nature just edges it out because you can get away with doing so much less because of this thing healing you. Like, you just get chipped down if you had any other one in that scenario, but this one just allows you to keep going through whatever. Earth's a good type, damage, not too many things resisted. Oh, I had to sneeze. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Not too many things resist Earth, especially later in the game. Earth's a pretty neutral type overall. I probably saw after one early on, but you're... Actually, no, you have it early. It's the first one you get. The healing 5 lives can really save you in later waves of a stage. But since it basically clears the wave, too. Like, it's just pretty good. It's great. I think, like I said, I think it's the best of them, but not by much. They're all pretty equal. It's probably the lowest on that tier. Either that or Snowy. Generator. This is the only thing I will say is bad. If the level doesn't have anything that can break a box, you use Generator instead of boxes. But it's still not very good. If you want to buy the first upgrade of this thing, it takes about 11 waves for it to pay it back and give you about 15 more energy. 11 waves? This thing is way too expensive and gives it way too little to be worth actually upgrading. Because it takes 10 waves for each upgrade of the generator to actually pay you back. The average Endless run lasts 30. This thing still isn't very good in Endless, unless you're going to wave 60, but 90% of people in the history of ever won't be able to. You would need to be some Grandmaster player to use this thing properly in an Endless run, but that doesn't make it good. And Endless is not very good because it doesn't pay itself back fast enough. And in a normal run, it's not very good because it pays itself back basically at the end of the level. It's better than a box if it can't be broken, but it's still not very good. This thing is bad. It's just bad. There's never an actual reason to use it. Or, it's actually, there's a reason to use it, but it's never actually going to give you anything back most of the time. Mallet. Mallet's... I would put it here. I would put it in great, but there are a lot of levels where you don't have very good placements for it, unfortunately. But this thing can do a lot. It can do a lot. Especially in World 3 when you unlock it, because that's basically where we absolutely need this thing. And I wish I realized that sooner. It does a lot of damage. It breaks a resistance, which is always nice. And its evolution is insane for damage output. I haven't used the punch yet, because I just unlocked it today, but I don't know, we'll see how that does. Blizzard's good. Blizzard's fine. Blizzard's Blizzard. The damage increase is pretty good. Probably the best reason to use this thing over the energy. Because the end of a match you'd get, on average, an extra 275. Yay. I can't even buy a magic sword with that. It doesn't give you any extra. It might give you enough to buy that little bit of an upgrade that you might need. There was extra 3 energy that you would need at the start of a wave, but you could also just kill something in the wave most of the time anyway, and then buy it. So what was really the point? The actual ice type is good, so its damage is fine. I actually think it does a lot less than the other two overall, but I might just be completely lying about that. I'm just going how that feels. It feels like it does a lot less than the other two. And the damage increase on the beans is good. I guess it's probably the only reason you ever use this thing. But 10% damage is, I would say that's pretty worth it in some scenarios. Not really that bad, though. There's never really a situation where it's actively bad to use it, unless everything is immune to it, but I don't think that's a normal situation. Coffee goes in balanced. Goes in good. I like the coffee, actually. There are a lot of levels where there's not a good spot for a third beast, and you don't want to spend the floor tiles on a dog, because you might want a spike or something there. So you just put a coffee down at the corner of the map, and you call it good. It buffs the beast you actually want to use your beans on instead of swinging between 3 of them. And it has a really strong ability. This thing is very powerful in boss fights. Because you mentioned how I said the dragon is really good in boss fights. Yeah, imagine you got two of them now. Even the cactus can do the same thing. You basically bring coffee to boss fights with two other high damage healers, and it just rolls. But the coffee itself doesn't do a whole lot, so I can't see myself putting it any higher. But it definitely has some good uses, so I'll keep it in good. And the chameleon, I don't really understand how I should be using this thing, because I feel like I could be using this thing so much better. But as it stands right now, he's just fine. Changing his attacks to the type that's the enemy's weak to is pretty cool. Or I guess I don't know if it's weak to or neutral to, but one of the two. That's really good. He basically has no weaknesses in a sense. His abilities weird. It launches a whole lot of every element, but most of those the enemy either resists or is immune to in later stages, because they have immunities to half of everything for some reason. And that's where you get this thing. Early on, it might do really good when there aren't tons of immunities or as many immunities and resistances. But even then, I think its range is too low for it to actually do a whole lot. The thing I haven't really touched on much is the range. Like, Dragon has a really high range, Chameleon has tiny range, Snowy has good enough range, Frog has pretty good range, Cactus is like average. I don't know, Ghost I think is pretty big. But Chameleon's got like the shortest range of all of them for some reason. So he can't do a whole lot with his basic, because like his ability is pretty good, I want to say, but just himself, he doesn't do a lot. It's when he gets level 4, its level 4 ability is actually kind of crazy. The piercing fireball that actually burns, and it can do a lot. So I could see it going a lot higher over time as I use it more, but as it stands right now, I think it sits right there and good. Yeah, okay. Tell them ranked. I forgot to mention that this also buffs the range of units, which is actually really good, because it like gives them a lot more leniency with the placements you can put things on, considering you can't actually choose where you can choose where you place things, but you can't choose where you're allowed to. You can't choose your available placements, only where you actually place the towers. This can make that a lot less of a problem. Anyway, now, don't want to change anything. I want to say that stays there. These stay here. Tend to put flipper isn't bad, but I bet it's an active handicap, but it's technically not. Coffee, no. I mean, I could see it, but I'm gonna stick with it here. I shouldn't put that here. I'm gonna put crab in amazing. Crab's really good. Sometimes also put tortoise up in great. Tortoise can do a lot. Yeah, I wish I had like a tier in between these two, like one higher, one lower. Yeah, I think that's it. It's my final tier list of after beating not beating the entire game. I still have beast mode and a couple of most maps to do it. After finishing the final level, playing all the levels with chaos, all gems for the most part, aside from a couple of ones I really, really did not feel like doing. This is my final list here. I don't think anything goes in must pick. Mudpit's probably the closest to going in must pick, but I think it's just barely out, as it can be replaced. Well, it can't be replaced, but you don't need it. There are some stages where you can definitely get away with it without using it. Anyway, that's a Bean Beast tier list. This is how I rank all of the towers and the summons and the beasts and the riders and the mounts and everything in between. Aside from the three at the bottom that I basically just unlocked and haven't used once yet. Cool. End this video now.